Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm back with another action figure review, and this time we're going to be reviewing the Hush action figure from the Hush line, actually. And there's going to be some positives and negatives with this action figure. I'll get into the positives. The positive, definitely for me, the thing that's a go for me is this right here. This bat symbol right here is dope. I'm loving this. I'm just, I love this little bat displays. I mean, this could just be its own thing. Like, it's a display stand for Hush, but he can stand on his own, you know. But if you choose to display him in his stand, because he has a thing there at the bottom of his foot, you can stick him in a display stand. But he's capable of standing on his own, which I was pretty shocked, by the way, when I first got this figure and learned that he can do that. But this right here, this, I'm just loving this. Like, it could be like a background. Like, you could sit this like in a background or something like that, you know, with your Batman figure or whatever you might choose to do. But this is one of the things that stood out for me with buying this figure was that this display stand. But let's get into the figure itself, Mr. Hush over here. So we have Hush here, and the other positive for me is the sculpting of him. He looks just like out of the Hush comic book that I've read numerous times, which is one of the best Batman stories in comic book form. Now, the negatives, of course, will probably be his posability. There's no ab crunch or nothing like that. You know, you do have some limitations with him. You get full rotation in his wrist. You know, his arm can bend. You get full rotation in his head. You know, things like that. But there are some drawbacks, like the guns are not removable. So for people who might like to have a Hush figure with his guns being removable, this might not be for you because his guns are not removable. Like I said before, no ab crunch. You do get a bend in the knee. I don't know if you get any swivel in his lower ankle or feet. No, I don't think so, because I'm trying to move it. I know I'm doing it with one hand, but I usually can do that. But yeah, I don't think you get that. If I do find that out after I finish this video, then I'll put it in the description below. But those are the negatives, but the positive is the figure itself and the sculpting of him. His face is pretty fantastic. Like I said before, if you've read the Hush comic, he looked like he's been ripped right out of the page, and my camera's giving me hell again and doesn't want to focus. But the sculpting of his face is pretty good. The sculpting of his armor there, you know, his little pouches, the little Hush symbol that he has on his chest and his belt, and his trench coat itself. It's yeah, it's some kind of pliable plastic, but it's very good. It's very good. And the sculptings, you know, of the guns itself as well. The little strap there with his trench coat. I mean, this is pretty good stuff. I mean, this is good stuff. He's a pretty dope figure. He's pretty good by my standard. You know, you can get some posability out of him, but if you're one of those collectors who wants, you know, the full throttle, you know, with all the articulation and all that stuff, you're not really going to get it with him. But is he a figure worth picking up if you're interested? I would say yes. I could have got the other Hush figure with postability, but the reason I didn't is because I didn't like that Hush face sculpt. His face sculpt just looked horrible. He had a weird looking scowl on his face, and I didn't like it, but I like the face sculpt on this Hush figure, so that's why I picked him up instead. Some people have their own preference of posability and, you know, articulation, all of that. Me, I kind of go for the sculpting of the figure itself. If the sculpt looks good in the figure, then I'm going for it. Or sometimes for nostalgia purposes, I'll go for a certain figure, which in my next action figure review, you'll see what I'm talking about. But overall, yeah, he's a pretty good figure. The sculpt is outstanding. It looks like Hush. Great figure. The display stand, like I said before, I love it. It is awesome. I just love that. It's just something about that. I guess because I've read so many Batman comics over the years, and on some of those comics, it had this bat symbol right on top of it. So that's kind of the nostalgia thing I was talking about before. But anyway, he's a great figure. He's worth the pickup if you're interested. I bought mine on eBay because, you know, I'm Eric the eBayaholic. That's why I get all my figures mostly. So until the next time, love reviewing all things comics, action figures. Till the next time, see ya.